And as she walked out the door, I said, "Rachel, you be careful." And she walked out backwards. I still remember it. She walked out backwards and just said, "Oh, Dad." And when I was told she was shot, my mind just went back to that moment. I told you to be careful. And I would have never thought.
No one would have thought this spunky, outgoing high school cheerleader would find herself fighting for her life, the victim of a shooting. But not long after she left her home that evening, Rachel Berzinski was shot twice, once in the shoulder and once in the head.
My thought, at least I was making myself think this, that she was just grazed. She was just grazed because nobody gets shot in Worthington, Ohio. It just doesn't happen. And it was grazed. I don't, wherever it happened, she was just grazed. And of course, I didn't know the seriousness of it until we actually got to the hospital.
Getting to the hospital and, being told, that there was nothing they could do, and call your family in and that kind of thing. It's just your worst nightmare.
I think I hit the floor and I was in shock.
Rachel was not expected to make it through the night. The bullet had fragmented inside her brain, and doctors couldn't operate. All her family could do was wait and pray.
When we finally got to see her, there was this calm that came over me. When I saw her, I just felt things were going to be okay. I just felt things were going to be okay. And it wasn't long after that she actually started to squeeze our hands.
A miracle. And I think we've heard that word from doctors and nurses and people that were in the emergency room.
But there was no time to celebrate. The road ahead would be long and challenging. Rachel's family turned to Columbus Children's Hospital's rehabilitation program.
And I remember thinking at the time, she's not ready. But we knew of the aggressive therapy they were going to do here, and they informed us, you got to act on the time frame. The earlier you act on rehab, the more chance of recovery. So 3 weeks after the incident, she was transported to Children's, and we started right away with the therapies.
She was very lucky to be alive. And
Jenny Lundeen, a speech pathologist at Children's, says Rachel's injury was severe. She faces both mental and physical challenges, including short-term memory loss and lack of feeling in the left side of her body.
Things that go along with traumatic brain injury, things like disorientation, confusion, difficulty initiating and sequencing and organizing, lots of cognitive difficulties. She was not able to walk at that time.
Children's team of occupational, physical, and speech therapists met with Rachel's family, and together they set goals.
They asked her dad what his goal was for her, and he said that she walk across the field for senior night. And I remember thinking, wow, that's really a lofty goal, and that's, I can't see. At that time, she was hardly feeling anything at all on her left side, and so I remember thinking how bad I felt that he had a goal that I didn't think was achievable.
Filled with uncertainty and sorrow, Rachel's family set out on a journey they weren't sure they could finish.
I wasn't sure what to expect. I remember, though, the first day when they took her onto the parallel bars, and it took 3 people to hold her up to it. And I thought that was an aggressive treatment there. There's no way she could stand up to the parallel bars. And sure enough, they put her up there and they started walking her right away.
Right away, Rachel, with the help of her therapist, went to work, learning new techniques to improve movement and memory, and hopefully regain control of her life.
We work with them to figure out what's going to work for the family, whether it's regarding walking, strategies for using your left hand, or memory strategies. So what will work for the family at home.
For 10 weeks, Rachel and her family lived at Children's. Each step a struggle.
Did you have a therapy after OT?
Every memory documented before slipping away. Each task a hurdle, making her stronger and even more determined.
It was extremely hard though, watching her struggle. The things that used to come so easy to her being an athlete, and seeing the things that came so easily, she struggled so hard with moving her arm, moving her leg, and she always had a phenomenal memory. She was struggling with all that now, and for Dad, it was hard. It was hard to see your little girl go through that.
Just weeks after beginning her senior year of high school, 17-year-old Rachel Berzinski began the fight of her life. She had a gunshot wound to the shoulder and fragments of bullet lodged in her brain.
It is a parent's worst nightmare.
Suddenly, the vivacious teenager found herself in Columbus Children's Rehabilitation Program, struggling to walk and straining to remember events that took place just minutes before.
She was struggling with all that now, and for Dad, it was hard. It was hard to see your little girl go through that.
Harder still for Rachel, who each day gave 100%, only to sometimes fall short of her expectations.
Of course I get frustrated. I mean, it's frustrating that my body doesn't work how it used to, and my brain, so. But each and every day I get better and better.
And Rachel was getting better and better. So much so that after just weeks in rehab, the day that Rachel's father had hoped for, the day his daughter would walk across the field on senior night, arrived. Rachel left Children's on an evening pass and joined her family, friends, and classmates.
Sure enough, she walked across the field on senior night. That was a huge turning point, I think, for me.
I think I make more and more strides to getting all the way better every day. And pretty soon I'll be there.
More than 3 months after Rachel nearly lost her life, she graduated from Children's Rehab program. Staff and therapists shared memories and accomplishments.
I will miss your smiles and really appreciated you teaching Rehab how to cheer correctly.
Before asking the former cheerleader to pick up her pom-poms one more time.
R-E-H-A-B. Let's scream it. Let's shout it. Rehab rocks.
Actually, I think a big reason why I've been so successful is my family and my therapist and friends. And I've had so much support, incredible support. It's been wonderful.
It's hard to explain to somebody at the most devastating time in your life. There are people that are here supporting you and including you in everything and helping you through. We're just so fortunate, especially to have a place like Children's right here in our area.
We had options of where to go for rehab, and we chose Children's on one visit, and we made the right decision.
Today, Rachel returns to Children's each week for physical, occupational, and speech therapy. As always, she takes it day by day. But now she's also looking forward to her future and to one day going to college as she would have done this fall.
I'm so proud. I'm so proud. She's worked really hard. Really hard. Extremely hard. More than any other human I know.
Rachel once asked me, "Dad, why do you think God allowed this to happen to me?" And I thought for a minute, and I said, well, I think you're meant to be an inspiration to other injured children. You're meant to show them what hard work can do to beat this kind of an injury. And she looked at me and she says, "I think you're right, Dad." But I told her, in order for you to do this, you have to get all the way better. And she said, "I will."
You know, I am getting better and better every day. I realize that. So that's good. That's a good thing.